This week on What Do You Got? How many cuts can a human person survive? Stay tuned.
Oh, so many questions right now.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to BDP. I'm Andy Smith,
I'm Tim Fulton.
and this is What Do You Got?
What do you got?
What do you guys, when we come up with a random question, we just bring it on the other guy and just bullshit about it for a little bit. This is Tim's turn. Tim, what's your topic for What Do You Got?
How many cuts can the human body withstand before it succumbs?
Depends on what kind of cuts.
So, surface level cuts. So I had this thought the other day, and I was like, I wonder what the answer is. This is a perfect topic.
How dark and deep is your depression?
It's getting pretty bad, buddy. It's getting pretty bad.
It's not enough that I just die from a cut. I have to die by the most cuts.
Out of
The most
anybody.
superficial cuts.
Out of anybody. Well, so I was thinking about it. If you flay someone alive, if you remove all of their skin, they're obviously going to die.
It's not looking good at that point.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
If you get a paper cut, obviously you're going to survive that. So those are the two extremes, the two far ends. One is a mild inconvenience. The other one is a horrific, painful way to go.
The other one is removing your skin.
The other one is removing your skin. So I did a little math, and obviously people are a little bit different. You are 6 foot 1,000, and I am 5 foot nothing.
Okay.
So we have different amounts of skin, but we're going to be using the average human body here.
Okay, which is?
The average human body has 21 square feet.
What country are we talking?
Oh, shut up. I already don't.
This is gonna differ.
I already don't want to play this game.
Sorry. I gotta do it. Go ahead.
The average human body has 21 square feet of skin, which will equate to 3,024 square inches of skin.
Okay, I'm
Now,
gonna take your word on that, on the math.
I used a Google calculator for it.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
So 3,000 square inches. So if we assume that a paper cut, is 1 to 2 inches long.
Two's a big paper cut.
2 is a big.
You're talking like the like the Barry Sanders of paper cuts.
Yeah. So all right. So we'll say
I don't know
1
where I
inch.
got that name from.
We'll say 1 inch. All right.
Okay.
That means, and we'll ignore the complications of having two cuts right next to each other because it doesn't really work that way. So just assume it can.
Okay.
We'll assume a width of 0 just to make math simple. That means you could have 3,000 paper cuts before you have no more skin left on your body.
No. That's not how that works.
Sure it is.
No.
I'm saying 0 width, so we're only. Oh wait.
No, because a paper cut is only what? A millimeter thick? And
That's
you're
what I'm
talking,
saying. 0 width.
yeah, so you're talking 1 square inch, 3,000 square inches.
Oh yeah.
So you put one cut across each inch of the body.
Yeah, you're right. So it would have to be.
Well, let's think about it like this. Interesting fact. So what factors are we bringing in here? Because I'm already thinking, like, are we talking infection? Are we talking stuff like that? Or just strictly from the direct injury?
We'll say directly from the injury, although you can have indirect consequences, right? I remember this
Yeah.
from Game of Thrones, spoiler alert, but when they filleted someone alive, her heart gave out before the rest of her body did.
That's what I'm saying.
So I would say not from infection because the human that we have tied up in the cellar that we're doing this experiment on, we're going to do it
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We're going to do it straight through until they're dead. While counting. It's like licking that lollipop commercial. How many licks does it take to get to
How
the
many
center
cuts
of
does it take to slay an innocent human?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's put it this way. If there's 3,000 square
There's something
inches,
wrong with me.
there's something wrong. Yes. I'm going to be contacting authorities after this podcast. So they said there's 3,000 square inches?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that somebody could survive? Because this is a thing they used to do, I believe, in Japan, China. It's called death by 1,000 cuts. This is a torture method they used to do.
See, I knew I could rely on you to make this interesting.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure that that's a fact. They used to literally just put small slices all over your body slowly over days or hours or whatever until you just eventually died.
Okay.
And you can imagine, like, think about how painful a paper cut is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would, if this ultimately led to death and you knew that it was going to lead to your death, I'm sure you would be begging to die before way
Oh,
before
yeah.
you die.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
Because if you have 3,000 paper cuts, it's one paper cut per square inch.
Yeah.
Some of those square inches are tenderer than others.
Mm-hmm.
But that would probably feel like somebody took like kind of lightly lit you on fire.
Yeah. Every like breeze of the wind would be excruciating.
Well, it's
after a time.
hitting right in the nerve
Nerve,
area.
yeah.
It's not cutting through and killing the nerve. So it's just roll right there. And
Ugh.
so this is basically like you just keep giving someone paper cuts until they die.
I say paper cuts, but we can say any superficial level cuts. But yeah.
So paper cuts. I'd say for someone to actually die, a healthy person, no heart condition.
I guess it really boils down to how much skin do you lose before you die.
I don't think. Well, you're not going to lose skin from paper cuts because it's not. You're not undermining the skin, so you're not removing any of the skin. You're basically just making it into mesh.
It kind of looks like those hams when you pre-cup them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like a honey baked ham.
Yeah.
But not delicious.
Well.
I would think that you would probably go. There would probably be a point where you would go into shock.
Yeah.
Because of the pain threshold and maybe even from loss of blood. Because after a while, your skin would be so inflamed that all the blood would probably rush to the surface to try to combat all these paper cuts.
All these wounds.
I mean, eventually your skin would look like one giant blood clot.
Yeah.
Because it would just be dried blood because they're not profusely bleeding, but they're bleeding enough.
Ugh.
So you would, and also too though, how fast can you administer them?
I don't know.
Like if a person has to do this by hand, one person, I mean,
Do we have a paper cutting machine?
you're talking out. I mean, if you could administer 1,000 paper cuts a
Just has
minute,
turn papers rotating
Yeah.
as fast as it can.
if you could, this is like a child's torture chamber.
It's like if Sesame Street made the movie Saw.
Yeah.
How many paper cuts?
I
Three
want to
paper
play
cuts.
a game. Yeah, we both did the count. How many paper cuts on your eye? 1, 2. Snuffleupagus is over there like, yeah, man. I would say if you could do 1,000 cuts every 5 minutes, you'd probably die.
That's a lot.
You'd probably die in an hour from shock.
That's a lot of cuts real fast.
Well, in 15 minutes, you have one cut per square inch of skin.
Yeah.
So you would have 4 cuts per square inch after an hour,
Okay.
which would be 1,000. So you'd have 60,000 or 6,000 cuts. No, 1,000 cuts every 5 minutes. I said
15.
no, 1,000 cuts every 5 minutes. So after 15 minutes, you have 3,000
Right,
cuts.
right.
So 3 times 4 is 12. So you have 12,000 paper cuts. That does not feel good.
I feel like you would die within that hour.
Yeah, you have to be a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All you'd have to do is just dunk them in like salt water, and your heart would explode. That's fucked. Now, let's say you're talking with a knife or like a razor blade, but you're only doing superficial. That speeds up the process quite a bit. Which would you pick?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it because
If death is imminent.
if death is imminent, I mean, at least with cuts, you do cut into.
I'm going the razor blade. Not the paper cut.
Is that still gonna cut into the nerve, or you're still? I mean,
It doesn't matter. You'll bleed out way quicker because the blade is so much wider.
Well, no, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking for pain purposes. Because if
Well,
the
the
paper cut-
razor's going to be sharper than the paper.
Yeah.
Like you ever cut yourself with a knife and you're like, oh fuck, did
Yeah.
I cut myself?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know when you cut yourself with a piece of paper, you're like, God damn it.
I had a kid who used to sit behind me in English class in 8th grade and purposely try to give me paper cuts on the back of my neck.
Give you paper cuts?
Mhm.
Oh no, that
He
wouldn't
thought it was-
happen.
He thought it was funny.
That would no. He'd find out how not funny it was as soon as he got one.
All right. Well, this has been a weird topic. Any last thoughts before we go
Yeah,
off?
you got me thinking about
I knew this would. See, I was in that mind frame when I came up with this topic, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
really wonder about this.
I'm just trying to think, like, what situations. Okay. When would you ever be susceptible to a paper cut? But like,
When were you always?
no. I mean, 1,000 paper cuts or
Oh.
whatever. Like if you fell into like a recycling bin, or something like that.
Death by recycling.
Yeah. I'm just trying
That's
to think.
why I pollute Mother Earth to avoid
Dude,
it.
you know what's fucked up? Like really fucked up.
What?
Like back in the day, like the fact that term death by 1,000 cuts is like a thing for a reason. Who, and that's like not even one of the more fucked up ones. But like
There are so many.
There was a
weird
time-
implications.
there was a time, I guess, when people were just like, all right, like we kill like you're a bad person, we think you're this, you're dead. There's always been some kind of like torturous thing where they would just stone you to death or whatever. But then there was a point in time somewhere in the Middle Ages or whatever, those dark periods where they were like, you know, death just isn't bad enough. Like we need to up the ante here.
It has to be as terrible as humanly possible.
Like what about if we just keep lighting them on fire? They're like, that's not painful enough.
You know what I think? We should time up the 4 horses, and they can all just go in different directions.
That's mild.
Mild
That's bro. Do you know what an iron horse is?
iron horse. No.
An iron horse is, I believe it's an iron horse. It's a steel triangle. It's like, think of a beam of wood,
Okay.
but it's a triangle with the point on top, and it's probably 6 feet long. What they would do, and it's sharp, not so sharp that you would cut yourself on it, but like you don't want to sit on it. And what they would do is to torture you or get you to confess your sins or whatever, they would have you sit on that and tie weights to your ankles and just let you sit on it until it literally would split you in half.
Oh well. That's fine.
Think about that. How long do you have to sit, and how heavy do those weights on your ankles have to be until just the you shifting back and forth literally splits you in half?
I regret this topic.
But that's us. That's
I know.
that's up here. All those like medieval torture methods and stuff like that.
That's evolution.
That's not. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess.
I guess. But how much time do you have to have on your hands?
I mean, I thought one up. I never knew about the death by 1,000 cuts, but I essentially thought of it
But you thought of it on your own as like
Yeah.
an organic
Like,
thing.
as like an interesting thought, and then but someone 2,000 years ago was like, you know what? We could use that.
Yeah. Well, not only what I'm thinking, you know how they say the philosophy was born when society got to the point where people just had the time to sit around and think.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to go out and build and do all this stuff and hunt for food constantly. Yes, but you also get that too.
Yeah, you do get that too.
Like you got that dude.
You get the good and you get the bad.
Yeah, that guy's just sitting around like, how do we make like death painful? Like way more painful. Like, what's the average age? 33. It's not good enough. We need it to suck more. I haven't had a shower in a year. We need it to suck even more than this.
Everyone smells so bad. Gonna cut them.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the best torture method? Why don't you just let people live? That seems like the worst one. Just let them live their life.
Womp.
Womp. That's it. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
All right, guys. Give us your best guess. How many paper cuts do you think the average person could get?
What's yours? What's your guess?
What's my guess?
30,000 or 12,000?
I'm taking it from the other direction. I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. You threw way too much math at me.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10,000.
Oh, so you're the Price is Righting me.
Yeah.
You're 1,000
One.
underneath me.
just one.
One. Yeah.
That covers 1 to 30 or 29,999. Anyway, how many paper cuts do you guys think the average human body can take?
Mine can take one, maybe two. That's
And then you
it.
just shut down.
That's it.
Also, what other type of torture methods do you know about through history?
I know.
Did you know that the Iron Maiden, that wasn't a real thing?
It was, but it wasn't what they said it was.
Apparently, and take this with a grain of salt, they found spikes nearby an Iron Maiden, so they assumed it went inside and it was a torture device. But they now think that they had assumed wrong, and there was no correlation. So there was no spikes on the inside. Anyway,
Yeah.
go to burndownpro.com. We're constantly coming out with new, interesting things like T-shirts, hoodies, blah 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 blah, new designs, yada yada yada. We'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.